a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Neverland Ranch. Neverland Valley Ranch is a developed property in Santa Barbara County, California, located at 5225 Figueroa Mountain Road, Los Olivos, California, on the edge of Los Padres National Forest. It was first named Neverland in 1988. It is famous for being the home of American entertainer Michael Jackson. Jackson named the property after Neverland, the fantasy island in the story of Peter Pan, a boy who never grows up. Jackson's first encounter with the ranch came when he visited Paul McCartney, who was staying there during their filming of the Say 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 video. According to Toya Jackson, Michael expressed interest to her in someday owning the property at that time. The ranch became widely known in connection with the 1993 child sexual abuse accusations against Michael Jackson and later during his trial, as the site where the abuse was alleged to have taken place. The 2019 documentary Leaving Neverland about Jackson's alleged child sexual abuse, which received worldwide attention, is named after the ranch. Today, the ranch is owned by Colony Capital and is for sale, as it has been for some years. The ranch is located about 5 miles north of unincorporated Los Olivos, and about 8 miles north of the town of Santa Ynez. The Chamberlain Ranch is to the west, and the rugged La Laguna Ranch is to the north. The Santa Barbara County Assessor's Office says the ranch is approximately 2,800 acres. Residents of Michael Jackson. The estate was originally known as the Zacaledra's Ranch at the time of its purchase by the property developer William Bone in 1977. Bone renamed the estate the Sycamore Valley Ranch and moved there with his family. Bone commissioned the architect Robert Olivos to design the principal buildings on the ranch, and the pair spent 2.5 years researching potential designs and ideas. The 13,000-square-foot main house was completed in 1982, based on a design by architect Robert Olivos, with formal gardens, a stone bridge, and a 4-acre lake with a 5-foot waterfall. Bone later said that in building the house he had a desire to express everything I had learned in 15 years of home building. I achieved here all the things I wanted to do in my business, but could not. He had considered converting the property to a country club, but did not do so. Michael Jackson purchased the estate from Bone in 1988 for an unknown amount. Some sources indicate $19.5 million while others suggest it was closer to $30 million. The property was initially purchased by a trust with Jackson's lawyer, John Branca, and his accountant, Marshall Gelfand, as trustees, for reasons of privacy. The arrangement was later rescinded by Jackson in April 1988, and he became the ultimate owner of the property. It was Jackson's home as well as his private amusement park, with numerous artistic garden statues and a petting zoo. The amusement park included 2 railroads, one narrow gauge named Neverland Valley Railroad, with a steam locomotive named Catherine after his mother, built in 1973, and 2 coaches. The other was a narrow gauge, with a C.P. Huntington replica locomotive made by Chance Rides. There was also a Ferris wheel, carousel, zipper, octopus, pirate ship, wave swinger, super slide, roller coaster, bumper cars, and an amusement arcade. The master closet also contained a secret safe room for security. Jackson was also an avid art collector. Some of the events that took place at the ranch included the wedding of Elizabeth Taylor and Larry Fatensky in 1991, the live Oprah Winfrey interview of Jackson in 1993, and an event in 1995 when Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley hosted children from around the world. Neverland Ranch was searched extensively by police officers in connection with the People v. Jackson trial after he was charged with multiple counts of molesting a minor in 2003. Jackson was acquitted of all charges. However, Jackson stated he would never live at the property again as he no longer considered the ranch a home and did not return to Neverland. Jackson's sister, Toya, wrote of her experience staying at the ranch during her brother's trial in her 2012 memoir Starting Over. In 2006, the facilities were closed and most of the staff were dismissed, with a spokesperson stating that this was the reflection of the fact that Jackson no longer lived there. Neverland Ranch has a central role in the allegations against Jackson of an extensive pattern of child sexual abuse. It is one of the main sites where several of Jackson's accusers have said the sexual abuse took place. The 2019 film Leaving Neverland about Jackson's alleged child sexual abuse is named for the property. The rank's association with sexual abuse was described as a reason for a significant decrease in value. Financial status. Reports of foreclosure proceedings against Neverland Ranch were published on October 22, 2007. A spokesperson for Jackson said that the loan was merely being refinanced and Jackson remained the majority stakeholder, with a legal retention of 87.5% of the ranch. On February 25, 2008, Jackson received word from financial title company, the trustee, that unless he paid off $24,525,906.61 by March 19, a public auction would go forward of the land, buildings, and other items such as the rides, trains, and art. On March 13, 2008, Jackson's lawyer L. Lundell Macmillan announced that a private agreement had been reached with the private investment group, Fortress Investment, to save Jackson's ownership of the ranch. Before the agreement, Jackson owed 3 months' arrears on the property. Macmillan did not reveal the details of the deal. On May 12, 2008, a foreclosure auction for the ranch was cancelled after Colony Capital, an investment company run by billionaire Tom Barrack, purchased the loan, which was in default. The selling price was $22.5 million. In a press release, Jackson stated, "I am pleased with recent developments involving Neverland Ranch and I am in discussions with Colony and Tom Barrack with regard to the ranch and other matters that would allow me to focus on the future." On November 10, 2008, Jackson transferred the title to Sycamore Valley Ranch Company, LLC, and neighbors reported immediate activity on the property, including the amusement rides being trucked along the highway. Jackson still owned an unknown stake in the property, since Sycamore Valley Ranch was a joint venture between Jackson and an affiliate of Colony Capital. The Santa Barbara County Assessor's Office stated Jackson sold an unknown proportion of his property rights for $35 million. Subsequent news reports, however, indicated that Colony Capital had invested only $22.5 million in the property. In any event, reliable sources indicate that Colony is the majority owner. Kyle Forsyth, Colony's project manager, described the estate's Tudor-style buildings and savanna-like grasslands as English country manor meets Kenya. Eventually, Colony hopes to sell the ranch, located in Santa Barbara County, in its entirety. Subdividing it, says Forsyth, would destroy it. Since 2009, the Neverland Ranch rides balloon samba, jeeps, wave swinger and dinos have been featured attractions at the California State Fair in Sacramento. Death of Michael Jackson. Following Jackson's death, press reports during June 28, 2009, claimed that his family intended to bury him at the Neverland Ranch, eventually turning it into a place of pilgrimage for his fans. Similar to how Graceland has become a destination for fans of Elvis Presley. The singer's father Joseph Jackson later denied the reports. Construction equipment and gardeners entered the grounds on July 1, prompting speculation that preparations were being made for something related to Jackson's death. But local officials stated that a burial there would be only allowed if the owners of the ranch would go through a permitting process with county and state government before establishing a cemetery at the site. Jackson's 2002 will gives his entire estate to a family trust. The ranch was the setting for 2 media appearances on July 2, 2009. Jermaine Jackson took the Today Show's Matt Lauer on a tour of the main house, and he was interviewed on the grounds of the house by Larry King for his show. In January 2013, singer Lady Gaga announced her willingness to help Jackson's children in keeping the ranch by investing in the property. Restoration. The amusement rides and animals were gone by 2009. Replaced with a meditative Zen garden and a section decorated with Peter Pan, Michael Jackson's favorite fictional hero. In May 2015, it was announced that the Neverland Ranch, renamed Sycamore Valley Ranch, would be put up for sale with an initial price tag of $100 million. By that time, Colony North Star had completed extensive renovations to the property. Many people, including fans, protested and disagreed with the decision. Jermaine Jackson, elder brother of Michael, wrote an open letter to Colony North Star expressing his disagreement with their decision. As of May 2016, the 2,698-acre ranch, jointly owned by the Jackson Estate and Colony North Star, was being sold by Sotheby's International Realty with an asking price of $100 million. The price included the 12,598-square-foot 6-bedroom Normandy-style mansion, the 4-acre lake with waterfall, a pool house, 3 guest houses, a tennis court, and a 5,500-square-foot movie theater and stage. The train station and railway tracks were also included. According to Time, the owners were specifically looking for a buyer who doesn't plan to turn the place into a museum for the singer. Due to lack of interest, the asking price of the ranch had fallen to $67 million by February 2017. The property was still on the market in early 2018, at the same price, with Coldwell Banker. In February 2019, the asking price of the ranch was reduced to $31 million. $69 million less than the original asking price of $100 million in 2015. The listing agent for the ranch says nothing has changed except the price. The ranch structures and landscaping are still being maintained. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?